What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another figure unboxing review. In this video we are going to be opening up and talking about all of the YouTooz Godzilla vs Kong sets. So that's Godzilla with Atomic Breath, Kong with the Throne, and the Godzilla vs Kong Battle Pack. Alrighty boys, for those of you who don't know, YouTooz is basically like an alternative to Funko, but while with Funko's an established brand. Funko Pops, I'm talking. Funko Pops are an established brand. I'll just get out the guy. Here's like the Funko Pop Godzilla and the Funko Pop Kong from Godzilla vs Kong. These were just the standard versions. Funko Pops are incredibly popular. They're like super mainstream. And with Funko Pops, oftentimes the iconography of the figure is just enough to sell it on its own. You can sell multiple versions of like Kong, and then they'll, a couple movies later, release this guy again, but now he'll have the other scratches on the other side of his chest. Nothing else will be different, but we'll buy him anyways because that's what Funko does. YouTooz is a little different. YouTooz actually started out a lot more niche. They started out basically being the Funko Pops, but for things like streamers and YouTubers and releasing that kind of stuff. It's very similar in terms of content, but the art style is different. While they may be about the same height and have similar looks, the devil's really in the details with the YouTooz. And a lot of the time, YouTooz comes with like a stand that the figure will be standing on, or a base, or something to go with it. So it's not always just the figure itself is enough to sell it. And we can see that on display with these Godzilla vs Kong YouTooz, which we're about to jump into. We'll start out with Godzilla because when I did the Funko Pops, I started out with Godzilla. Opening it up, it came in a really nice extra packaging. Like there's an extra layer here for people who wanted to protect the box. They have a box protector. Whoa, the box protector has its own art. Huh, what? That's cool. I didn't know that. It's actually different than the figure as well. Well, here's the box protector with its own very special artwork. The artwork itself is really nice. I really like the animated backgrounds here with the burning city and then the orange smoke, just getting in that good Godzilla vs Kong color palette. You've got the Godzilla vs Kong logo, the blue clashing with the orange, which is always good stuff. And just as I thought, this is the logo with the hidden images. There's a hidden Godzilla inside this and a hidden Kong inside this. You can see like Godzilla's spines in the Godzilla, and then you can see like fur stuff in the Kong. For anybody actually wondering what the official image of those guys looks like, it's the same image that you've seen a billion times. How dare you wonder that? You've already seen it before. It's the stupid friggin' banner where they're punching each other, and it released a billion different versions of it. On the side here, we've got this really nice art of Godzilla spewing his atomic breath. Cool golden Toho legendary logos down there. On the back, you've got the actual YouTooz version of Godzilla blasting his beam. And then on the side, you've got a cute little Kong with the axe, and I don't know if they fold out into one image together, but I guess there might be a way to line them up so that they can blast each other, because obviously the atomic breath is coming in at Kong with the axe. I guess Kong doesn't even have the axe. He's just doing a big old leap. He's doing a big leap punch. Good for him. Very ambitious of you, Kong. I like it. I think this is already beautiful. As for the Godzilla box itself, well, you can see Godzilla in it. They're doing the clear transparency thing. I actually liked the box art more before I realized that it was a separate box. I think that's a lot stronger than this. This is more like what you see with Funko, with a little version of their Godzilla down here. He's the same one from the back of that box, and then Godzilla actually clearly through display windows. Godzilla on the top, just like on the Funkos. Him in the Neon City, Hong Kong, blasting his beam. That looks great. And then another rendering of him in a Neon City. It's a little less recognizably Hong Kong, but I'm sure it's supposed to still be Hong Kong. This one is the Heat Ray Godzilla, and on the back it says City Smashing, Thunder Crashing, Monster Warrior. Now yes, this is Heat Ray Godzilla, not Atomic Breath Godzilla, because I think Atomic Breath is a little too politicized for America these days. They seem to be mostly using the term Heat Ray. Let's open this guy up. Oh, that's cute. On the inside, you've got a burning city that reminds me of that like burning meme where he's saying everything's fine, or whatever that meme's called. And then you've got your literal Godzilla. Wow, that's cool. Okay, we got the Atomic Breath, and then we've got Godzilla. Well, I really like the Atomic Breath. It's transparent. I didn't realize it was going to be transparent. So it's transparent, and then at the base of it, not only does it have these cool jagged spikes sticking off of it to represent the explosion, but it's got these chunks of debris being fired back into it, and the debris actually travels up the beam stream a little bit, which is really neat. That's a super cool thing for them to to have added. I really like that a lot. To compare apples to apples here is Funko's version of the atomic breath. It's a little more dark blue, still transparent, but nowhere near as transparent as this. This is very see-through. This is a very murky transparency. This has a similar idea with the beam coming down and then a base for it to obviously sit on the floor. You want it to sit nicely. And then obviously you've got jagged spikes coming off of this. I think this one is a little more dynamic and a little cooler than this one, even though I like the blue color of this one a little better. I wish this was a deeper blue, but that would kind of ruin the transparency they were going for, which I think would be fine. But there's the two of those together. And also it's a very soft plastic vinyl feel. So yeah, you can bend it. It's hollow on the inside. So that's how this comes out. As for the Godzilla himself, I've kind of had my mind made up about this Godzilla long before I ever had him in my hands. I've seen pictures of him when they announced him, and I've always thought, and I still think even holding him, he doesn't look very good, but there are things I really appreciate about him. There's a lot of details on here that I do appreciate. There's also a lot that I don't. It just doesn't look a lot like Godzilla from the movie to me. I think that this one does a much worse job at capturing the likeness of Godzilla than the Funko version, as I'll talk about in a second. What this one does right is it's got an interesting bumpy skin pattern, and although the skin pattern is not very reminiscent of Legendary's Godzilla at all, it does capture a Toho Godzilla feel, which I think is interesting. I like the pose he's in. He's kind of a big bellied Godzilla, which again goes to their style. I think that's fine. His legs are interesting with the way they have these chunkier, rockier sections on the front lead into the wart sections on the back. The feet look really nice. Onto the back of Godzilla, I like the tail. I like the way it's posed. I like the way it kind of arches up and then over. I think that's neat. As far as on the back, you've got the 3 rows of spines running all the way up, which is nice. Very blue. I like how blue the spines are. They look good. They've got a lot of good texturing within them. These are very well detailed. I really like these blue spines quite a lot. Then this is where we get into our issues. So there's some smooth patches all over this guy, like for instance right here. This is a needlessly smooth patch. I do like that they've detailed the bottom though, although they put the logos on the feet, which Funko did not do. You've got a very rumpy belly here that leads into a jagged chest. That's all right. Again, just doesn't capture the likeness of Godzilla from the movie, but it is playing into that they have their own art style. I think the eyes are really cute. I really like the eyes. I like the way they're kind of arches. I think the eyes are adorable. I like that they glow blue. I think the teeth look really, really nice. I like this web right there between the jaws. I don't know what that thing's called. I should learn what it's called. I like the blue on the top of the mouth. I really like the pink tongue. They've got actually a pretty well sculpted pink tongue. And then there's little things I like I like that they've painted the nails. I like that they've painted the fingers. I think this thing overall has a very good paint job. Even here where the blues just kind of all over the place, looks like he got exploded with blue powder. I appreciate it because it gives him a glowing aesthetic and a nice style. Now, I just don't like the sculpt of this area on either side. Looks really bad. I don't know what that's even supposed to represent on Legendary's Godzilla. It looks more alien than Godzilla to me. The face looks pretty good. It looks pretty Legendary Godzilla, but it's just thrown off by the back of the neck. The top of the head looks pretty decent, but yeah, it's just thrown off. Before I get into the real direct comparison, here's just the Funko Godzilla next to the YouTooz Godzilla, and from a distance, they're like the same height. They have similar body structures. The Funko one's a lot heavier. This one's a lot softer of a plastic. From a distance, you can even see the difference, right? This looks like they found a good way to make a cartoon and cute version of Legendary's Godzilla, and this is just going for a much more stylized version of it, and I prefer the Funko one. This all gets really complicated because we have a direct comparison. The details in the legs, the details in the chest, in the face, especially the sides of the head. YouTooz is just not living up to the Funko version. There's a direct comparison between these two. YouTooz essentially remade the Godzilla with a very almost identical atomic breath. One thing YouTooz does better than Funko's Godzilla is I've always thought Funko's atomic breath Godzilla, clearly because they're trying to save room on the front end for the atomic breath, they've shrunk the spines on the back end, so his spines are actually really small. YouTooz did not compromise. He's got very large spines. I mean, just look at that. The YouTooz spines can eat the Funko spines like 3 times over. YouTooz has much better spines. I don't necessarily think they're exactly more movie accurate, but the size proportions look better. They just look better, and they've also got really nice texturing. And there's both the boys blasting their beams. Like I said, they made nearly identical figures here. They're cute together though. I like them. I like them both. I'm glad I have both of them, even though I vastly prefer Funkos over YouTooz. I like having both of them. If I had to recommend you get one or the other, I would recommend you get the Funko version because it looks a little more movie accurate. But if you're wanting something a little more cartoony cartoony, a little more honestly kid-friendly, the YouTooz one is the way to go. And the YouTooz one does have good detailing. I think YouTooz having the debris in the atomic breath and having the atomic breath kind of explode outward is a little more dynamic and a little cooler. I think YouTooz has a better mouth as well. I think the wider mouth allows for more detailing, like the pink tongue. I like the fleshy membrane in between the jaws, and I like the dorsal spines a lot more. So there is things that I do like about the YouTooz version more, but I just think Funko's has a better paint job. It looks a little more movie accurate. I mean, even down to like the toenails and the fingernails look a little better. So I'd give the edge out to Funko on this one. Now, getting away from the direct comparisons, let's make it a little more even. And I also just realized if you get both of them, the Godzilla and the Kong, that's how you can line them up. Oh, look at that. Godzilla's blasting Kong. That's sick. Oh, we like it. Good stuff, man. This is the Kong box. It's identical except for it's got Kong on the throne in the back, and then it's got Kong on the throne on the top. Otherwise, it's identical. I like the drawing of Kong on the throne, and it gives me hope that they have done two things pretty well. It looks to me like they've done the wrap, the Godzilla hide on the axe pretty well. It also looks to me like they've done a really good job with Kong's chest scars. So here's the Kong box. Again, you've got Kong on the throne and then the window into Kong on the throne. That's his name, actually. Kong on the throne. On the side, it says, Kong is king. On the back, it says, oh, they just won me over with this one. Oh, I gotta check too. On the side of this box, it says King of Nature. King of Nature? Guys, King of the Monsters? On the back of Kong's, it says,
We need Kong. The world needs him.
Nice. It warns that there's choking hazards as well. And in the back of the box is the cave, the Hollow Earth throne, and the whole circular thing around it. Although it doesn't have the little Godzilla design down here. But looks really nice. First of all, just really cute little artwork right there. I really like that artwork. That's a very chibi thing. What's his name? Mikio0001. I show his art off all the time. It's like his art style. I think it's adorable. I like their rendering of the throne. I like the lava around it. I like Kong there. I like the way that the throne stretches up. You can see the actual pillar that the throne is attached to. What the hell? You can see the actual pillar that the throne's attached to. Alrighty, there he is. Soft plastics, we like to see it. All right, now this one doesn't have a direct Funko comparison, and it's succeeding because of it. My proposal to the team would be to maybe pick a specific scene and adapt it the way they've done here. I really like this image, Kong on the throne. It's one of my favorite visuals in the movie. I think it's a very cool thing to adapt. I think they've done a really good job of adapting it. Going through it, I really like the design of the throne, and while it's not movie accurate, this one's a lot more rock based. This one looks a little more natural than the one in the movie, which was obviously a carved throne. This one still looks really cool. You don't have the pillar on the back, and I actually think this figure benefits for it because now it's free to just exist on its own in a way that's very satisfying. It's got a really nice texture. It's just a dull brown all over the place, but it looks really nice. It's a really nicely textured thing. This is an instance where the logo on the bottom doesn't bother me. I love how spiky it is. I love the way that the mountains rise up. I think this whole thing looks really fantastic. Kong sitting on the back there looks really good. Now, it would have been fun if you could take him off the throne. I know that he would still be sitting, but it would have been nice if you could pick him up and take him off the throne because he is absolutely sealed to the throne. You cannot take him off of it. But I'm pretty impressed with this thing. I mean, overall, other than the fact that Kong is sealed to the throne, I think it looks great. He's got a great head sculpt, looking very Monsterverse Kong. I like that little expression he's got. It's almost happy, but it's almost angry. I like the fangs on it. I think those look really good. He's got a nice, like, scrunched mouth, which I think is fun. Again, I really like the YouTooz eyes. I think they're very cute. Their fur texturing looks very good all over the body. It looks really nice everywhere. The ears look really nice. The whole face is very well detailed with a lot of wrinkles and lines running down it. I mean, this thing just looks really nice. He's got good feet pose. I like how big his feet are in relation to his hands. That's pretty cute. They have done a really wonderful job with those scars. They've given them this pink color, which gives them a lot of life. Although it's not movie accurate, it gives them a lot of flavor, and I really like the stylization of it. The axe looks great, very clearly atop a bone. I like how clearly that is as a bone. They've done a good job with the pointed top. The actual axe blade is very nicely painted with this white blue on the inside and then this darker blue on the outside, making it very Godzilla styled. The way they've wrapped it around the blade makes it look really good. It's not quite Godzilla hide, but it doesn't really matter here. This is going to be our closest comparison from Funko, and there's a few things that Funko's does a little better. Like, Funko's looks a little more movie accurate, except I don't know why the beard is lightly colored. This one, actually, I like the beard on it a little more. The whole thing is just more movie accurate, so it doesn't pop as much, that was not intentional, as the YouTooz one. The axe doesn't have as good of texturing on the Funko one, but I do like the painting on it a little more, and I do like the Godzilla hide on the bone a little more, but the sculpt of the bone itself is actually better on the YouTooz. And I'd actually say overall, the YouTooz one is a little better in almost every regard. I like the axe more. I like the Kong sculpt more. I wish it was able to be taken off, and it makes me think that if they had made a Kong in the same size as this Kong with the axe, basically another adaptation of this figure, they actually might have done better than Funko did. Or maybe like with the Godzilla, when they scaled it up, something would get lost in translation and it still wouldn't look as good. So this comes down to, do you want the movie accuracy or not? And if you don't, well, then it comes down to what pose do you want? Do you really want him to stand next to all your other guys? Because this one's going to look a little more like all the others and it's going to scale well next to all the others. Whereas this one, now this one's just more of a set. If you want something that looks cooler and adapts the scene from the movie a little better, well, this one looks a little cooler than any of the Funkos because he's sitting on the throne, which is such an awesome part of the movie. It's a really cool thing to just make. And overall, I think it's just super, super neat. It kind of comes down to what you're wanting out of your figures, but that'd be a really tough choice for me to make, and I'm glad I don't have to be the one to make it. I'm glad I have both. Now getting on to the final one, Legends collide here. We've got Godzilla and Kong. Godzilla's, oh, just Godzilla on the back? Godzilla firing his beam into nothing, not even gonna put Kong in the back, huh? Weird. He should be right there. He's all the way over on the side. Why'd they make him all the way over on the side? It's like they didn't want to put him right here, so he just stretches to the side. That's super goofy. This is the one that got a lot of eyes, and that's Godzilla and Kong fighting on the aircraft carrier. There's them on the top. There's the bottom. This one's a lot heavier, obviously. It's 2 figures plus a base in one. If they did this right, the quote on the side should say "one will fall." This one's hard to get out. It's got a very different color palette overall than the others. Mine kind of popped open when I was getting it out. It just says Titanic Throwdown with some water waves that lead to this image of Godzilla and Kong fighting on the aircraft carrier with this mountain in the background. Interesting. And it looks like the aircraft carrier is sinking here, as you'd think it would, kind of exploding and sinking under Kong's foot the way you'd think would happen in that movie. Isn't it weird how a little cartoon chibi version of this actually makes more sense than the movie itself? I thought so. Here they are fighting on the side, just a really close-up of the two of them fighting. And then there's part of the aircraft carrier. And then the front has them fighting and then a big window in on the inside where you can see the two of them in there together. And this one says just Godzilla vs. Kong. That's just what this one's called, Godzilla vs. Kong. I haven't noticed if all the other boxes are numbered, but this one just says number 2. I don't know what number 2 means. On the side here it says, "Hail to the kings." Nice. I like that it doesn't say king. Kings. I like that. Oh, and then I mentioned on the top, they're going at it. Burning city on the inside. Shouldn't it have been like ocean waves and clouds and stuff? This is adorable. Well, here's the little guys. And again, I'm chill with the logo down here because this one it actually makes sense. So here they are fighting. They've got a good lean to the aircraft carrier. It's leaning because it would make sense to be. What is going on in that movie? Why wouldn't it be? I saw a lot of people clowning on this because there was a lot of people being like, holy cow, guys, how could they make this mistake? Godzilla and Kong are on the wrong sides. They done messed up the scene from the movie. Godzilla and Kong is on the wrong sides. Kong is doing his punch. Well, here's the thing. No wonder they're trying to rep this angle when they show the figure off, because first of all, it shows off the actual aircraft carrier a bit more and it's not completely covered by waves. But the other reason they're going to show this side off is because it's a better angle of Godzilla and Kong. Godzilla's in a very nice attack stance, and Kong, you can actually see him going in for the punch, and he's got a really nice open mouth roaring face, and then you can still see the fire in the background and stuff. But guys, anybody who had a critique about that when they released the promo images, you can just turn it around. This looks great, man. I think this is awesome. I think this is such a cool thing for them to have adapted. Fires going on, explosion over here. That's really neat. You got like a full-on explosion. Fire over here. I like the air tower or whatever this is called on a big aircraft carrier. They have smoothed out the aircraft carrier. They've simplified it so that it makes more sense for the figure version, so it's just less distracting and there's less going on. Now, it's gonna be hard to show these guys off because they don't come off, which is unfortunate that YouTooz figures can't come off their stands ever. That'd be nice if they could, and then there was just peg holes in their feet to put them back on. That would be cool, but they can't. Oh, that's really nice. Godzilla's spines are super soft, like almost rubbery soft plastic. That's really nice so you don't break them. Well, Godzilla's in a really cool stance here. I'll use this angle to show him off. I like that this one's not glowing blue because it makes him different than the first one. He's in a different battle stance than the first one. He's looking really good. I really like this. I think this is great stuff. I like the way they've wrapped his tail around to keep it on so that nothing spills over the edge of this thing. That's really cool. And there's the top-down view. If you want to see the top-down view, that's what they look like. So it looks like when Godzilla and Kong are about to make out. Yeah, Godzilla's design, overall, it's pretty much the exact same thing as the other one. You've got that weird leg pattern. You've got the not-so-great chest pattern. You've still got the ugly side of the head, but it's looking better now that it's not powdered blue. I actually think it looks better here. You've got the very nice mouth. Now the tongue is lifted. I'm really, really happy with that. And then as for Kong, he's got a really nice ass and he's got great muscle texture in his back. And that's what we really care about. As for the front of him, he's still looking really good. He's got this wild expression that makes him look just like a gorilla, obviously. But it's just that giant open mouth, open fanged roar that's great. It makes him look very fierce and angry. I really like those eyes still. It still gives him a bit of fun and energy and happiness to him. I like his battle stance. I like his kind of like spread leg. I think it's cool. Again, they've done a really nice job with those scars, giving them a lot of color and making them pop just a ton. I love that the teeth and the fangs are sculpted and stick down on their own away from the gums. And then the tongue in the back looks really nice. They did a really good job with this. The paint overall looks great. The texturing looks great. Again, good painting with the ear and the face being a separate color from everything else. Kong's hands are looking great. This whole thing is like, this is fantastic. I'm really into this, man. Obviously, there is no Funko comparison to this. And so that alone, I say, justifies this thing's existence and makes me think this is a must get. It's unfortunate that that Godzilla had to be a direct adaptation because it was never going to stand up to Funko. If you're wondering what the scale is, the actual Godzilla and Kong stand a little taller than the ones on the aircraft carriers, so that in total this thing comes out to be the same height as these guys. That way you're not taking up like obscene amounts of shelf space. The aircraft carrier might be just like centimeters taller, if that, but I think they're about the same height. So the Godzilla is going to be a little wider and bigger. And then actually as for Kong, because now he's freestanding and he's part of a bigger picture where he's doing a big punch, Kong's actually going to be bigger than the version of him on the throne. The version of him on the throne is actually going to be smaller than this one. I also like that now we have a Kong represented with the axe and a Kong represented without the axe, the same way we now have a blue Godzilla and a normal Godzilla. This thing is what truthfully makes the YouTooz so special with Godzilla vs. Kong. The fact that they adapted this, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. I just like the scene adaptations that were going on here, like adapting specific moments. Not sure what moment you could have adapted with this Godzilla other than maybe the atomic drill. If they wanted to make him actually fully hunched over and put some Hong Kong buildings around him, that would have been interesting. I don't know what else you could really do with him though. But one thing I really wish they do, and it's probably too late at this point, but if we've got a Godzilla vs. Kong set, what if we got like one with Godzilla and Mechagodzilla locked in a beam battle? How sick would that be? By the way, this is Godzilla standing next to the Funko Mechagodzilla. There's the two of them. They scale really nicely together. They look pretty great together. I like it, but that'd be awesome. I would really love that. Then you could do one that's like a Kong versus Mechagodzilla, or Kong holding Mechagodzilla's head. That'd be great. Oh, that'd be so cool. If they did a Kong holding Mechagodzilla's head. And then to finally end it all off, if you did one where it's Mechagodzilla and then Godzilla on one arm and Kong on the other, and they're both going to slam him into the building, although there is no building here. It'd be a set similar to this, where you'd got Godzilla on one side, Kong on the other, and then Mechagodzilla in the middle, and they're all pushing forward. YouTooz, I'm giving you free stuff here. I'm not going to charge you for these ideas or anything. I just would like you to send me them for free. They're good ideas, guys. Well, here's our best direct comparison. A Funko Kong standing next to this YouTooz Kong. And just like I said, the YouTooz Kong has a lot to love about it, and in some ways is better than the Funko Kong. It's got a more rich sculpt. Well, I think the Funko one's a little more iconic because it's got a better art style. It's actually less detailed, and they both stand out in their own ways, but makes me think they missed an opportunity not doing a Kong, especially when holding the Mechagodzilla head. There's the three. See? Now you can see what I'm talking about. Wouldn't it be great? Okay, well, there's not really a point in doing figure comparisons here, or figure ratings, to be honest. I like them all in their own special ways. I think that the YouTooz Godzilla vs. Kong sets are going to be worth it depending on what you want out of these figures. In my personal opinion, the only one that is really debatable is the Godzilla Heat Ray version. The other two are great and stand on their own very well. And I'm really, really happy with these, and I'm super happy that YouTooz did them. I know when it was announced, people were like, that's really redundant. We already have Funko. Why would we need the YouTooz, the ripoff Funko? YouTooz isn't exactly a ripoff Funko. They're just a different style. Besides, healthy competition is good. So overall, I'm really happy with these things. I'm super glad that they got made. I really like them. Do any of you guys have the YouTooz Godzilla vs. Kong set? You actually buy them all individually. It's not one set that comes together. Let me know down below if you guys do. I'd love to know if you guys enjoyed them. Overall, I'll give YouTooz Godzilla vs. Kong 8 out of 10. Sorry, Heat Ray Godzilla, you weighed us down. All right, I want to give a huge thank you to all my patrons over on Patreon. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below, where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man, out.